This clip is brought to you by VegasWinners.com. Get expert sports betting advice from some of the best handicappers in the world. Head on over to VegasWinners.com and win yourself some money.
And now it's time for our main event. It's going to be Marc Mero taking on Razor Ramon. And of course, you're probably wondering, how are they doing that? Well, this is Rick Bogner. It's not Scott Hall. It's the quote unquote fake Razor Ramon.
Yeah, don't blame me, folks. I didn't write it.
Of course, Bruce Pritchard takes issue with us calling it fake, saying, no, we own the character. That's him. That's Razor Ramon.
Technically, Bruce is right. We did own the IP.
We're going to get on this in this main event, the WWF television debut of Kerwin Silfies. He's going to be doing a phone call to Vince, explaining what really is going on and the reason we don't have any more feed from the Pillman household. And I think the gist is, hey, Kentucky sucks. I think that's pretty much it. How about the presentation for Marc Mero? I mean, Sable looking like $1 million, got this awesome robe, and the pyro is still going. What a presentation. Oh my, let's take a listen to this introduction.
I believed in Steve Austin. I knew he was going to do that. I mean, you know what? I blame Brian Pillman for this.
Man, you see Glenn Jacobs, what's going to be Kane here is Fake Diesel, and you're just like, boy, humble beginnings. You know,
Who would have believed he'd become the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee?
if somebody would have told you that here 25 years ago, you would have laughed your ass off.
I would have probably chuckled, but if you knew Glenn Jacobs like I do, and I
Not so
hired the
much.
guy, he's so smart and he's such a good human being that the world of politics needs more people like Glenn Jacobs, I can promise you.
So we see,
I'll say this, Bogner looked good
oh no,
in that Razor attire. I thought the idea just drew attention to the competition. I didn't understand that whole premise, but I understood why we did it. I just wasn't sure it was the right, we went in the right direction.
passing the chains down to Chimmel.
Tony Chimmel. Tony Chimmel's on, what's that thing called when you go on and do a little messages for people?
Cameo.
Yeah, he's on
Oh,
camera.
well, listen to you preaching.
So I'm going to ask those tough questions every opportunity I get.
You're not doing
McMahon,
it.
listen. You're the man.
I mean, how can you be so absorbed with yourself and asking the tough questions, so to speak, when in fact we have had this incident in Cincinnati?
I didn't know what was going on in Cincinnati. Nobody told me before I got in the ring. I don't have a crystal ball. I talked to Steve Austin yesterday. I could have told you this was going to happen. Did you believe he was going to be there? Absolutely. I sure did too. Absolutely. I talked to him last night. I knew where he was going, but nobody asked me. Austin is obsessed with Bret Hart. That's what this is all about. It's all about survivors here. Absolutely.
I like that you're trying to bring it back to the pay-per-view. It's less about Brian Pillman. It's more about Bret Hart.
Yeah, Vince is dying for me to be a heel.
Yeah.
He was just fixated on it. And the more he pushed me as a heel, the more I got over as a babyface. As crazy as it sounds. You know, Bogner was an underrated guy. He was a lot better than given credit for. I think obviously this fake faux Razor thing didn't do him any favors.
No,
He wasn't a bad hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Glenn Jacobs, the mayor. No, I never hired a guy in my long career that had more character and integrity, reliability than Glenn Jacobs. So I'm sure the folks in Knoxville would have a little something to say about that. They love him too, quite frankly.
Kerwin Silfies here.
Cars still up in the driveway. So
What about any noises?
when everything went dead, I heard something sounded like a couple explosions, but I don't know what they were. I guess it could have been. I don't know. Everybody's a little shaken here.
What about restoring our satellite feed?
Yeah, I asked the guys about it, and they're out working on it. They want to stay in the truck. They're not real interested in going anywhere near anything, but they're working on it. They said they'll do the best they can. They're a little bit spooked right now.
Justifiably so. I mean, obviously everyone's safety is far more important than our feed. Nonetheless, we appreciate what you can do for us.
But so
Sure.
Kerwin Silfies. Tell
Bill
everybody listening who Kerwin was to WWE back then.
Well, Kerwin was the director of all the television shows for probably 30 years. He got let go in a year or so ago. I'm not exactly sure. I asked somebody about Kerwin the other day. They say he's living down in Florida. Was living a long time in Pennsylvania. So we'll see. He's living a good life in sunny Florida and the Sunshine State. He was a hell of a director, did a great job. And for him to put up with all the the management to that many years, you got to know he's something special.
You mentioned a minute ago how much, McMahon was trying to make you a heel. Were you enjoying all of this? Get the opportunity to really play a heel on TV and sort of get at Vince with some fun one-liners. Was that entertaining or fun to you, or would you have rather not done it?
Eventually, and sooner than later, I'd rather not done it because I thought my skills were being wasted by doing that, not doing the play-by-play.
Yeah,
that was just me, and it may be just my ego talking as well. It was different, and it was new. As I said many times, wrestling fans love new, and so I had fun in the beginning. But tying me to that wagon with a fake Razor diesel, I didn't think was going to accomplish very much. But you be a team player. I'm planning on working it on Wednesday nights, undergoing cancer treatment. Okay. I don't get no medal for it. I don't need a medal. I just need to go to work. That's my best medicine. So the same deal. I love the business so much that it was something to try, something different. And that's what Vince wanted. So that's what you did. You did what the boss wants.
I like
don't try to outsmart the system.
Somewhere in here, you have the line to Vince. You should feel really bad about this, Vince. It's just a great line. The bottom line, though, is you're in a ratings war. We've talked about it a little bit. Scott Hall and Razor Ramon, the real life Razor and Diesel, have jumped ship. The NWO is now a thing. Hulk Hogan has turned heel. Roddy Piper is back. They just did record business at Halloween Havoc in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe this is real, but we not only got a handicapper, but we got the best ever. How are you so good at handicapping these games? I mean, 4-0, that's quite a streak already.
Let's talk about every pick I've given this year in the NFL as an example. 23-8. Every pick I've given this year. 4 weeks in the bag, 23-8. There's nobody in the country that can match what I do, but I always make sure, because anybody, Conrad, could make up anything. They could tell you and blow smoke and tell you, oh, I'm the greatest. But I am independently monitored and documented, so nobody could ever question what I say and go, I don't believe it. I send every pick to an independent monitoring and documentation service that has to get the pick before the game goes off and then publishes it after the game goes off so anybody can see what I gave. But this is the best start I've ever had. I've never been this good to start a season. You don't win every week, 4 weeks in a row, everything you put out. It's been the kind of year I've had. So get on a hot streak, because when a guy's on a hot streak like me, you want to ride it. I've always had a talent for picking winners. Never quite as hot as I am right now, but I've always been very good at it. And I think it's because I do more homework than anybody else. The average guy or gal watching this podcast, they don't have time. They have a career. They have jobs. They might read the newspaper or go online and see something, but they don't have time 80 hours a week to study the games. That's what I do. And I have a crew of guys behind me, my consultants, who every week we get together 3 times a week and they throw their ideas at me. I throw my ideas at them. And then I pick the final 5 plays on Saturday and Sunday in college and pro football. So, I've got a great team behind me too, but we're all doing together hundreds of hours of homework. So you don't have to. It's all at vegaswinners.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to vegaswinners.com right now. Let's win some money. And now here, WCW does a 3.4 rating, earning them a 5.1 share. Meanwhile, the WWF here, in a rating stunt for sure with this gun angle, does a 2.3 with a 3.4 share. And I guess it's important to remind everybody that the show is starting a little earlier now. This is the first time that happened, and you heard a little bit of that as we started the show. But Meltzer would write, all of this controversy led to the USA Network, which was in on the angle from the beginning, trying to distance itself from the angle and apologizing, saying they'd never let something like this happen again, and claiming to have had no knowledge as to the extent of the angle that was going to be taken.
Right.
The WWF at first apologized for the language used in the angle, but not for the angle itself. This led to the first somewhat fascinating segment of what has so far been a disappointing live wire television show on November 9th. With Sonny off in Europe and doing advance work for a WWF tour in a few weeks, and Todd Pettengill with non-WWF commitments, Doc Hendricks hosted the show and had Vince McMahon and Jim Ross as guests. McMahon, in his Father Flanagan role, apologized for the angle, saying it was all the WWF's fault, and his in particular, since he heads the company. He tried to divert blame away from the USA Network, which by this point was no doubt sick of the heat when it was in the midst of its own change of management, and even the wrestlers themselves. Pillman and Austin were both on the show doing phone-ins, with Pillman apologizing for what happened, and in particular for getting carried away with the language he used, although McMahon downplayed Pillman having to apologize and again took all the blame. They then read emails and took phone calls from people who were very negative, and some were positive, with McMahon taking the tact that even if the angle was popular with the public, it was the wrong thing to do. And Kevin Kelly was also on the show and explained in hindsight it was all a publicity stunt by Austin and trying to tone down the breaking and entering type of crime that appeared on television, noting that the minute the cameras were off, Austin left Pillman's house without incident. So a lot of controversy here, so much so that you're going to take to your Weekend USA show to try to clean up the mess. What did you think of all this?
It was kind of what I expected it was going to be. You know, when you bring a gun involved, again, I hate to wear that damn topic or title out or subject out, but that's what it was. It shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody. I was a little surprised that USA bailed on them as they did, but I'm sure that was orchestrated as well. And you know, that everybody covered their ass is basically what it meant doing.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.